Aquarius, hi, welcome to your October full moon read. We have a full moon in Aries on October 13th, and I am not an astrologer, but I've been watching my videos here on YouTube, and I get the sense this one has the potential to bring a great deal of change. So big changes, big endings, big beginnings. Just a lot potential struggles and ego clashes. It is appearing to be a space of time in which there will be some big tests for relationships. So I wanted to do some readings for everyone around some questions relating to that. How do we weather this full moon energy? How do we master it? How do we use this time to further our growth? So, Aquarius, we have some questions we're going to ask. I'm going to be using the Bad Girl Tarot. Okay, this is I've recently done a review video on this one. It's from Katie Skelly, and we will find you'll find in the notes a link if you're interested in getting a copy of that deck. The artwork is pretty great. I think I wanted to say what? Oh, this is Crow Indigo Intuitive Tarot, in case you didn't know. And it's a general reading for sun, moon, and rising placements of Aquarius. So if any of your sun, your moon, your rising is not Aquarius, you might check out the other videos for your other placements as well to kind of triangulate your positioning during this full moon energy. So we're going to be looking for some guidance from Spirit, 3 cards each for 3 questions I'll be asking to give Aquarius a little bit of insight. Our first question is, where are you holding too tightly, Aquarius? Where are you holding too tightly to something that might cause some tensions during this fiery, headstrong Aries moon energy? We have second question, where is your ego overinvested? Where do you need to reallocate that portfolio with regard to your ego, Aquarius? And third, how can you improve your relationships right now? How can you use this energy from this Aries full moon to improve your relationships? What's actually in your power? We'll finish it up with an oracle card around the general question of how best to weather this time of relationship testing energies. Let's just turn these over. Artwork is fantastic on these decks. All right, Aquarius, you've got some pretty strong energies coming through here. Let's just get 3 more cards, please, Spirit, for Aries. 3 more cards for Aries, please. 2 more. You got some of my favorite art, too. I'll show it to you when we get all the cards out. 1 more, please. We just need 1 more card for Aries. Oh, not Aries, sorry. It's an Aries full moon, and it's an Aquarius read. So I hope I didn't get that wrong all the way through. I hope that I've been saying Aquarius where I was supposed to say Aquarius, and Aries where I'm supposed to say Aries, because it's an Aries moon, and the energy is that it's just very fiery, very me, kind of I am energy of an Aries placement. But the gifted astrologers that I've been consulting on YouTube have told me that there is a Jupiter trine, if that means something to you. I don't know enough about astrology to really fully articulate what that is. I just know it's how Jupiter is interacting with other planets, and in this case the moon. And this Jupiter placement at this time has the potential to bring us some pretty great gifts and some wonderful personal growth if we can roll with it, right? If we can accept the changes, the big changes that are coming, if we can embrace them instead of fighting them. Fighting a change never gets you anywhere good, because I know change can be scary, good or bad change is change. It's different. It's new. It takes some getting used to. And our reaction to that oftentimes is to be afraid. But if we try to cling to the way things were instead of rolling with it and moving into the space of what is now, it doesn't help us. It keeps us stuck. It has negative outcome. So in order to get all those wonderful goodies in the gift basket from Jupiter, we need to accept the changes that are coming, whatever those might be, from the full moon on the 13th through the next couple of weeks that follow. All right, Aquarius, let's look at what you got here. We're starting out with the Ten of Cups. This is wonderful, ultimate fulfillment, joy, happiness. Excuse me, this is the ultimate goal with regard to relationships, love, fulfillment on a personal level. This is really fantastic energy to start with. It's your dreams coming true. The Emperor energy is coming in next. This is a kind of a note of authority. It's fully taking up your space. I am here. I'm allowed to be here. This is where I belong. I have a right to have a voice. I have a right to take up this room. All of these things are for me. That kind of leader entitlement, but not in a bad way necessarily. And the Ace of Cups comes in next, and this is a new relationship. Could be romantic. It could be a resurgence of feeling in an existing relationship. Doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but there is something about this whole set of cards that's telling me, Aquarius, you're really coming into a sense of ownership of your right to happiness, of your right to feel joy. And that's not a bad thing. So where are you holding too tightly? That's the question in this first set of cards. What are you holding on to too tightly? And I think that's a question that only you can answer, Aquarius, because I feel like this is an amazing gift. This whole row feels like a fantastic gift to me. It's a resurgence of feeling. It's joy. It's feeling comfortable in your skin and understanding that you have a right to happiness. So what in you is blocking that? What are you holding on to so tightly that you're kind of holding yourself back from feeling this? Is it what I'm hearing, and I am not attacking you in any way, okay? So hear me, even though we're doing this around a time when confrontations are difficult. I'm going to wade right in there, Aquarius, and I'm going to say you are holding on perhaps to a vision of yourself as an outsider, a vision of yourself as the underdog, a vision of yourself as the victim, the person who has to struggle, the person who never gets a break. You're seeing yourself as this stereotype of someone who always has to fight, always has to struggle, never actually gets what they want, never gets the Ten of Cups, never gets the resurgence of feeling, and you need to let that go. Because what is clearly coming through right now from Spirit for me is that this is where you belong, on this throne. You belong in this space of joy and fulfillment. You belong wherever the hell you want to be, right? But all of this good stuff is waiting for you, and you're holding on too tightly to a vision of yourself as someone who has to struggle. And because you're holding on to that identification of yourself as an outsider who never gets a break, you're blocking yourself from receiving anything anyone could ever want in this world, right? Look at that. The rainbow. I mean, love and happiness and joy and fulfillment, all of it's there for you. A true sense of deserving happiness. It's waiting for you. And there's something about the changes happening at this new moon, this new full moon, not new moon, full moon in Aries, and the confrontational energy of it that's bringing big changes. It seems to me that you need to have a confrontation with that part of yourself that insists on defining who you are by what you don't have, if that makes sense. I think that'll speak to some of you. It may not speak to all of you. If it doesn't, don't be all upset with me, because maybe it's not your reading, okay? These are just energies I'm picking up, messages that I get. They don't always relate to everyone, okay? And if it is yours, no shade. We've all been there, I think. We've all held a perception of ourselves as some lesser version of who we're capable of being. And it's in accepting that that is not how you must define yourself that you're able to move forward and you're able to grow on your path, for sure. Second question, where is your ego over-invested right now? And we've got the Knight of Swords. Let me show you the art there. Fantastic. That Knight of Swords is coming in here saying it's time for some action. You might be feeling a little impulsive because this Aries full moon energy is all me, right? And impulsive by nature. This new moon, this new energy coming in with the full moon. I don't know why I keep saying new moon. Maybe there's something about the new moon that's following this one that's really particularly relevant to you, Aquarius. But anyway, back to our full moon. It's an impulsive energy. And this Knight is showing up and saying it's time to take some action. And you might be feeling, you know, an urge to do it rather impulsively. There are going to be sudden changes. There are going to be big changes. And part of our challenge during the next couple of weeks is going to be to roll with that so we can get the goods at the other side. Queen of Pentacles energy. So you've got a practical approach right now. Pardon me. Although you are feeling impulsive, you haven't lost your practical nature. You're still thinking clearly. You like to be comfortable and you want to be financially secure. So as you're making your decisions right now, you're not going to lose sight of that desire. Justice is coming in. Something's about to change, which puts things back in balance. And it is Libra season. You know, there's a general energy of that right now. Couple that with the Aries moon and the surge of energy toward dramatic change, and we could see some pretty significant shifting of the balance to get things back into order right now. So our question, where is your ego overinvested? And it might be that you think you know what balance looks like. That's what I'm sensing right now in these cards. What intuitively is jumping out at me is you think you know, as I'm telling you that action needs to be taken and you're being really practical, you're making sure you're financially secure, things are going to happen that bring things into balance. In your mind, you know exactly what that is, but you're wrong, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. And I'm really not picking on you this week. I promise, Aquarius, I'm not picking on you at all. This is what I'm hearing. What is balance? What is an evening of the scales? Doesn't look like you think it's going to look. There's something about what is coming, the changes that are going to be happening in your life in the next couple of weeks to rebalance things that doesn't look anything like you expect it to. And that is not bad, okay? It's not bad. These are changes that need to happen It's just that it may be so outside the realm of your past experience that you can't anticipate it, if that makes sense. Like, it's not, there is the possibility here of a whole different life for you once you stop limiting yourself, and that whole different life and what is fair and what is balanced, it could be like phenomenally great and so much better than you could even ever in your wildest dreams imagine. But it's just not going to look like you think it looks, because you've never been there before, right? You've never experienced what that's like, and so it's hard for you to imagine something better than you've ever experienced or ever been exposed to, because you have no frame of reference, if that makes sense. I hope this is making sense. Okay, Aquarius, let's look at your third row here. Our third question is, how can I improve my relationships? What is in my power? So some things are within our control and some aren't. The Devil is coming out first, and this is just a fantastic piece of art. Really digging this artwork. Katie Skelly, the artist, is a comic book artist. She may do other things as well, but she did this deck on Kickstarter based on her art from her comic books, I think, and I really am digging it. Okay, so the Devil comes out, and the Devil is speaking to addiction, materialism, could be just playfulness. There could be you confronting some shame that you feel. Shame is really insidious. A lot of us think, oh yeah, I've got my shit all worked out, but then there's something that we feel shame about or self-disgust about, and that blocks us in every way. That keeps us from growing. So at some point we really need to root it out, and in this case I think this is probably part of your transition, is dealing with those questions of what are you feeling shame about. The Knight of Cups comes out next, and this brings a note of following your heart. You know, you might appear a bit idealistic right now to others, but it's absolutely the path that you're meant to be walking. And the Empress energy is coming out third. Let me show you her. She's quite fantastic too. The Empress energy is a really interesting third note here, because this is about you know, creation, giving birth, and I think in the metaphysical or the metaphorical way, giving birth to yourself here. You're allowing yourself to grow. You're allowing yourself to be born into a new way of being. And so I'm seeing here, you know, you're dealing with a lot of issues around kind of clearing out the old you, making space for the new. And that's how you improve your relationships this month. It's by addressing what is in your power. What is in your power is exploring where you feel shame and where that is holding you back from being the best version of yourself. And by giving birth to a new version of yourself, by allowing yourself to believe that an idealistic version of your best self is actually something you can achieve through working through your issues, you do improve your relationships, because you bring a better version of you to every relationship you're involved in. It's pretty fantastic, Aquarius. I mean, you've got some heavy lifting to do, perhaps, depending on what your particular issues are, but the rewards for doing that are massive, and the energy of this full moon is all about dramatic change. It's all about big endings and big beginnings, and so that really does support this work that it looks like you will be starting to do. So that's a pretty great couple of weeks ahead of you, I think, Aquarius. I'm going to pull one of these fortune cookie cards. I'll put a link in the notes for this deck as well. This is going to just be some general guidance about how best to weather this period of time. Though for you, it looks like this is going to be a really productive couple of weeks for you. It's not really about getting through it. It's about really taking advantage of it. Nature is the message. Interact with nature in the outdoors, around animals, farmlands, or by the ocean. This will be good for the soul and healing for you. So it seems to be inviting you to spend some time out in nature, just soaking up the energies of the natural world to help support you through this process of clearing out the shame, of letting go of the need to identify yourself the way you always have, and making space really for the new you to be born. It's a fantastic reading. I have to say I'm really pleased with the way this has come forward from Spirit. I hope it's useful for you, Aquarius. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. It is an honor. And I just want to say thank you to those of you that have subscribed. It's really wonderful to see folks finding some value in these readings. I just do them because I feel called to do so. So yeah, it's great to see folks subscribing to the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, I invite you to. I hope that you'll consider doing so. If you know someone who's an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising who could find value in this reading, please feel free to share the video with them. And if you have any feedback, I always love to have feedback. There's an email address in the notes below, and you can also comment on the video if you would prefer. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing this time with me, Aquarius. I hope you have a fantastic full moon, and I'll see you next time. Blessings.